"You better back up or I swear I'll slice your tires right now." That's what she screamed, kitchen knife in hand, sun glinting off the blade like something straight out of a suburban fever dream. Let me tell you, nothing prepares you for the moment when a woman in leopard print yoga pants and a bleach blonde bob transforms a boring Tuesday into a neighborhood standoff. I hadn't even unpacked my bags yet, just back from a trip to see my dad, who happens to be the county judge around here, and I was already starring in what felt like a live-action episode of Real Housewives, Parking Wars. All over one spot, not even reserved, just slightly closer to her hydrangeas than she liked. Honestly, I thought my time here would be uneventful. A few weeks helping my dad out, working remotely, maybe some quiet evenings on the porch, a little jogging, you know the drill. But nope, 2 days in, and I'd already gotten my first taste of the neighborhood's legendary HOA drama. It started with a laminated note on my windshield, taped down like it was sealing evidence at a crime scene. "This spot is reserved for approved guests. You have been reported." All caps, angry handwriting, tape so strong it nearly took the paint off my truck. For a second, I laughed it off, figured someone just had a rough morning. No big deal, right? Next day, I get back from lunch, park in the same visitor spot, and bam, here comes Karen, clipboard in hand, power walking straight at me like she's about to audit my taxes. No hello, no, welcome to the neighborhood, just demands. "What's your name? What's your address? Who gave you permission to park here?" I tried to be reasonable, showed her my visitor pass, explained I was staying in my dad's rental, even pointed out the section in the HOA packet that said first come, first serve. She didn't care. "Those passes are only valid if I say so, and I'm the HOA president," she snaps, all smug authority. I mean, who knew community power could go to someone's head that fast? But then it got weird. She physically blocked my door, threatened to have my truck towed in 2 minutes if I didn't move. I stayed calm, told her I wasn't going anywhere. That's when she pretended to call the tow company. Then, in the middle of her performance, she ditches the phone and pulls a 6-inch kitchen knife from her bag. A real one, not plastic, and starts waving it around like she's auditioning for MasterChef, HOA edition. I didn't panic, but my pulse definitely spiked. All I could think was, is this for real? So I pulled out my phone and started recording. Karen barely blinked, just kept yelling that people like you don't belong here. And if the board won't deal with you, I will. Pure theater. Eventually, she storms off, threatening police and security, and I call the non-emergency number. 20 minutes later, the officer arrives. Karen's now wearing a cardigan and her best victim face, claiming I attacked her over her parking spot. The officer's on the fence until I show him the video. His whole demeanor shifts, and suddenly Karen's scrambling, insisting she never actually pointed the knife, just felt threatened. I reminded him that waving a knife at someone, especially with threats, is still assault, and he agreed, said they'd review everything. I thought that would be the end of it. Boy, was I wrong. Next morning, my truck is gone. Towed. Despite a valid pass, despite being legally parked. The HOA office is locked for a board meeting. I leave a written appeal and evidence, thinking surely this'll clear things up. By afternoon, I get an email. Banned from visitor parking for 90 days pending investigation into threats made against a board member. At that point, I'd had enough. I called my dad, sent him the video. There's a long silence on the line. Then he says, low and steady, "She pulled a knife on my son." That's not just HOA drama. That's aggravated assault. That's when I knew things were about to shift. Dad's no pushover. He built his career on justice, and now, his son was the target. But I didn't want to be the judge's kid who got special treatment. I wanted to fight this by the book, let the truth do the work. So, I got organized, labeled video files, drafted a statement, requested HOA transcripts, and called Sierra Lopez, a college buddy turned civil rights bulldog. When she heard the story, she just laughed. She picked the wrong guy to wave a knife at. The next morning, while I'm drinking coffee on the porch, Karen struts by and shoots me this smug look, like she's untouchable. I just smiled, cool as you please. She had no clue we were about to blow up her little fiefdom. Sierra fired off a cease and desist to the board, demanded a towing reversal, a written apology, and Karen's suspension. She didn't stop there, filed a preliminary civil suit for defamation and wrongful towing, sent the video to local news, and CC'd the county sheriff. Channel 8 ran a segment, Footage of Karen, knife in hand, screaming about parking. Her face was blurred, but not enough. Within hours, everyone in the neighborhood had seen it. Knife Karen was trending online. That's when the cracks really showed. HOA board members started panicking. Emails from residents flooded in. Some angry, some scared. Karen hid out, but the board tried to push back with a formal letter accusing me of aggressive conduct and unauthorized recording. Sierra just grinned, fired off a blistering reply, and requested every board minute and email under transparency rules. What we got was dynamite. Internal emails of Karen bragging about teaching me a lesson, and other board members encouraging it. But the plot thickened. Turns out I wasn't her only victim. A quiet neighbor named Dale knocked on my door, handed me a folder stuffed with years of complaints, harassment, intimidation, fines for petty stuff. Most had been tossed out by the HOA. "We're too scared to push back," Dale whispered. "But you've got our support." That's when it hit me. This was never about one parking spot, or even about me. This was about years of unchecked power. With Sierra's help, we built a case. Other residents joined as plaintiffs. New evidence poured in. Audio of Karen gloating at board meetings, more emails, testimonies of petty fines and intimidation. Sierra updated the lawsuit. Now we had 7 plaintiffs and a mountain of evidence. Channel 8 ran another story. Memes exploded online, and the HOA was imploding. 2 board members resigned. One leaked an email saying, "I didn't sign up for this." The community Facebook group turned into a battlefield. People demanded change. Some called for the board to be dissolved. You could feel the tide turning. Karen, though, she went full scorched earth. Handed out flyers calling me a liar. Sierra, a radical, claiming we were running a smear campaign. She left voicemails on residents' phones, warning traitors of consequences. The few allies she had left backed away, and even Greg, the board president, resigned after Sierra warned him of legal exposure. Then came the best part. HOA records, once missing, mysteriously appeared in committee inboxes, showing how Karen had rewritten guidelines, blocked appeals, even spent HOA funds on cameras pointed at specific homes, including mine. Sierra amended the lawsuit for negligence and financial misconduct. We got a restraining order approved. Karen was banned from coming within 50 feet of my property. She broke it the very next day, marched up to my driveway, started screaming. I recorded the whole thing. Patrol cars rolled up, and, no hesitation, she was arrested, right there in the cul-de-sac. Someone started clapping. I couldn't tell who. Didn't matter. That sound, the handcuffs, the applause, was louder than anything Karen had ever screamed. By now, Karen's mugshot was everywhere. The community didn't defend her. They watched, remembered, and knew it was over. But the real change came at the emergency election. More people showed up than any HOA vote in history. When the count was read, every single board member was ousted. The new board, people who'd stood up, who wanted fairness, invited me to join the advisory committee. I declined. "You've already done enough," one said. "You woke everyone up." And for the first time in weeks, I felt real peace. Karen tried one last time, a package left on my porch. But she was done. Her power was gone. The whole neighborhood had seen what happens when entitlement goes unchecked. But you know what? Some folks still whispered, claimed I'd ruined her life, that I was just some judge's kid looking for trouble. Maybe so. Maybe that's what it takes to challenge rotten power. Someone willing to stand up, risk the whispers, and not back down. So let me ask you, if this were your neighborhood, would you have stood up? Or would you have just moved on, left the fight for someone else? I want to hear your thoughts. Where do you draw the line between enforcing rules and abusing power? Let's talk about it. Comment below, because this story's bigger than one Karen, one knife, or even one HOA. It's about all of us and what we let slide until someone says enough.